In this WrestleTalk news, Cody Rhodes retiring. Oh god, no, please no! Another fired WWE star to AEW, SummerSlam in jeopardy, and my review of last night's AEW Dynamite. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news. I'm not gonna do it. I'm done. I'm over it, guys. I'm over dancing and humiliating myself for you marks. Sorry, but what did you say? Did you say sub? I guess I'll do it for just one more sub. Please subscribe.
Support WrestleTalk!
Last night's homecoming special episode of Dynamite not only saw the in-ring AEW debut of Malachi Black, who squashed Cody Rhodes in under 5 minutes, winning with just 1 foot on his chest, but also a teased retirement for Rhodes himself. Hey, Tony, you should have called it the Homelander special episode of Dynamite. Because it was called Homecoming. And Cody dresses up like Homelander from The Boys at the moment. It works. That's a good joke. That is a good joke. Subscribe. I'm dancing for you again. Following the match, Cody cut an impassioned, if slightly long and rambly promo, possibly selling a kayfabe concussion from Black's knockout kick. In it, he thanked you people for their support, probably said something about America, and then began to unlace his boots to leave them in the ring, the universal wrestling symbol of retirement. Like that time Undertaker did that really sad striptease. Black was like, nope, though, and attacked Cody with a booking crutch while he had just 1 boot off to make sure it was his moment, not Cody's. Although it really was Cody's moment, that's what we're all talking about today. That's how Dynamite went off the air. But following the show, Cody continued the retirement tease, taking off his remaining boot, leaving it in the ring, getting on all fours and kissing the mat before being helped out by his brother Dustin. This is almost certainly AEW's way of writing Cody off TV so he can go record the next season of the Go Big Show, a TBS program where celebrity judges encourage Paul White to do things. A very similar angle happened exactly the same time last year before Cody recorded the first season, with him being squashed by Brody Lee to lose the TNT title. Although that one didn't have Cody then teasing his retirement. Do you think Cody is really retiring from wrestling? And if not, is this going to make some fans even more frustrated with his character? Let me know in the comments down below, where I'll be replying to people for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from out of nowhere. With All Out spoilers, where Cody squashes Black right back. America, goddamn Netherlands. Proving NXT really is a great developmental system, just for AEW and not the WWE main roster, Fightful Select is reporting that plans are in place for Ruby Soho, the former Ruby Riott, to become All Elite soon. Soho was released from WWE on June the 2nd at the same time as Aleister Black, but an error on Black's contract meant he could debut in AEW after just 30 days. The goddamn Dutch. Ruby will presumably have to wait the full 90 days, which will make her available just before Chicago's All Out on September 5th, along with Braun Strowman, Buddy Murphy and Lana. That is, if All Out actually happens in Chicago. After reports that AEW is contingency planning for a potential return to Daily's Place if COVID restrictions are ramped up even further, Bodyslam.net is reporting that WWE management are also concerned SummerSlam might have to take place in the Performance Center or a Thunderdome-style equivalent. A decision is expected to be made within a couple of weeks, and the company fully expects to not be on the road in 4 weeks' time. However, WrestleVotes tweeted to say that SummerSlam at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas is still the plan, despite a new mask mandate being enforced for the arena ahead of the show. WWE has had conversations with the city and venue, and as of this very moment, all things remain on track. But it's Thursday, you know what that means. My review of last night's AEW Homelander. It's still a good joke. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Ryan Disco, Stewart, and Superkick, Nick Mazesco. Move aside AEW's return to Daily's Place for this episode, because the biggest return in wrestling ever, of all time, kicked off the show. Juventud Guerrera. I still can't believe this is happening. Chris Jericho took on Guerrera in MJF's third Labor of Jericho, where Chris could only win with a move off the top rope, a stipulation that Jericho tackled inventively, getting a great submission spot when he countered a top rope Hurricane Rana into a drop down walls, which technically counted because it was off the top rope, and winning with a Judas effect off the top turnbuckle. It's highly Judas effective. Wardlow beat up both men afterwards, and MJF announced he'll be Jericho's fourth Labor with the stipulation of MJF being at ringside. It's a bit of a letdown considering we've gone from chairs match to death match to the juice match. AEW appeared to accidentally broadcast a house show match next, with Darby Allin, Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston beating Daniel Garcia and the former NXT act Everrise debuting as 2.0. Continuing the Christian versus Hardy Family Office feud, Cage took on The Blade next. The Bunny brawled to the back with Layla Hirsch early, setting up their match later on. The Blade went to use the brass knuckles, but Christian won with a spear, making him the new #1 contender to Kenny Omega's AEW World title. I love Christian, but surely he's a red herring for the all-out world title match. AEW is way too smart to just put some ex-WWE guy in that spot. You need someone homegrown like a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan, especially because AEW still seem to be far more interested in building Omega versus Hangman Page. We got 3 separate segments devoted to their continuing feud on this episode. Firstly, with Page apologizing to the Dark Order for losing them their tag title shots and saying they have to go their separate ways. He needs to do this by himself. The feels. The Super Elite still being goofy with basketballs backstage and the Good Brothers giving the Dark Order Impact Tag Team title shots, which kind of undermines last week's stipulation. And then an in-ring promo segment where Page directly faced off against the Super Elite, composing some excellent visual storytelling with Hangman all alone in front of them. Kenny said if Page is trying to rejoin the Elite, he no longer fits the bill. Look at them now. Since Hangman left, they've all become champions. They don't have losers here. Page slapped Kenny and the Elite beat him down. The Dark Order ran down to make the save, but Evil Uno and Stu Grayson stopped the young'uns from getting in the ring. Hangman said he has to do this alone now, and they have to respect his wishes. This was an incredibly tricky dynamic to pull off, and the Order achieved it with heartbreaking impact, never once making it look like they're turning on Page, but that they're just as conflicted. There was also some token Kaz getting beaten up, and Kenny knocked out Page with the title to close the segment. Maybe Christian books himself a #1 contendership match with Page to set up Kenny versus Hangman for All Out. I still can't believe AEW will put this feud to one side for Cage. God and me now have 2 things in common. We both disapprove of thou coveting thy neighbour's wife, Tommy, and Miro is our favourite champion. He came out like an absolute star here to annihilate Lee Johnson. As watching Brock Lesnar will show you, being a dominating monster is great, but being a dominating monster who can suddenly give his dominated opponent believable offense is even better. Johnson got a brief comeback before Miro won with the game over. The Lucha Bros turned down Andrade and Chavo's offer to join them again, so Fuego del Sol got beaten up. Poor Fuego del Sol. Cage versus Starks and Dax versus Santana and Ortiz got video packages. Dan Lambert said he's coming to next week's show after his awesome promo last month, and he's bringing back up. Red Velvet challenged Britt Baker in an in-ring promo for Rampage's debut episode next Friday in Britt's Pittsburgh hometown. But far better built was NWA's women's division, which got Layla Hirsch versus the Bunny to decide Camille's #1 contender. The in-ring action was decent, but the interactions outside between Camille, Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander proved having more than 1 to 2 women on an episode of Dynamite can be very beneficial. Hirsch won and Camille got in the ring for a stare down using the Charlotte Flair trick of being way taller than everyone else. And the main event saw Malachi Black make his in-ring AEW debut, including his latest incredible entrance, coming out with a crazy cool Hereditary style skull mask. Even the match graphics beforehand showed Black's typical attention to detail, with a burning tree behind Malachi. This match was intense from the start, with Black taking out Cody's knee, pushing him off the top rope through the timekeeper's table outside, then hitting a Black mass when he beat the count to win with 1 foot on his chest. Cody's gotten a lot of criticism recently for not putting people over, but the argument is he should win a lot, so it means even more when he loses, like here. Unfortunately, I feel like the post-match then severely undermined that. As I've already covered, Cody then cut a promo heavily teasing retirement. It was a good promo, with the usual Rhodes charm and tears, but his loss to Brody Lee last August worked so well because Cody didn't get up right after to talk for 5 minutes. In fact, Cody's wife got beaten up too. The show went off air with them unconsciously holding hands in one of the most emotive cliffhangers of the year. Sure, Black then attacked him after 5 minutes, but Cody's retirement tease has taken over the conversation that should have been focused on Malachi's victory, and AEW should have known that. that. What did you think of Black's debut and this episode as a whole? Let me know in the comments down below and vote in our poll on a poll match on our community tab, where 79% of you voted for Malachi Black to the Blood Moon. It's amazing that an episode with Black's in-ring debut and the return of Juventud Guerrera feels like a relatively tame week, but that's the bar AEW have set themselves. I didn't agree with the Cody retirement angle. The rest of the card seems to be in a holding pattern ahead of any debuts that might happen later this month. This week's Dynamite is 3 out of 5. Yes, that's the same score I gave Raw, but they're different relative scales. Hey, pledge hammers on Patreon! You're my favourite people. Go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, the link's in the video description below right now, because the poll for this month's WrestleTalk Extra has just gone live, where you all vote what retro wrestling pay-per-view Luke and I will do a 3-hour plus deep dive review of. There's never been a better time to become a pledge hammer. Dave Meltzer is reporting that Rick's WWE release wasn't actually him quitting, but more being fired, saying he's heard from people who I know who are closer to this situation than I am that say that it was Vince's decision.